When nuclear nonsense dissolves into a nuclear nightmare, are you living downwind of a nuclear death trap?
Dr. Strangelove has calculated that the risk of a full-scale nuclear meltdown is small. They have nothing to fear. Don't believe those rumors of a nuclear government cover-up.
Ever watch the Academy Award-winning movie, Dr. Strangelove? This morbid comedy, directed by Stanley Kubrick, received 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. The plot begins with an insane general who triggers nuclear Armageddon. Meanwhile, the president and a cadre of politicians and generals frantically try to prevent a nuclear holocaust. The movie revolves around the war room, and Dr. Strangelove, a villainous, ex-Nazi scientist, who is now the president's advisor. Dr. Strangelove proposes that the leadership be evacuated, deep into an underground survival bunker. The plot thickens as he explains that global thermonuclear war might, and in fact, have some benefits. To repopulate the world, he proposes that the bunker house a ratio of 30 beautiful women for each man. Slowly, the leadership in the war room begins to agree that there might be some positive benefits to destroying the world. Could it be that the US has a real version of Dr. Strangelove, whose war room is the US Nuclear Regulatory Commission, NRC? As you will be shocked to learn, the NRC has just pulled off one of the most dangerous cover-ups in history, and we bet you've never even heard about it. A nuclear cover-up, so shocking, that it's been dubbed Nukegate. Let's see what they just got away with. The U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, NRC, was established by Congress to protect the nation by safely regulating the nuclear industry. But it appears that the issue of safety is no longer job one at the NRC. The operating licenses for the U.S. fleet of 100 nuclear plants were approaching their 40-year limit. The entire fleet of nuclear reactors would be forced to shut down unless their operating licenses were extended. To placate nuclear corporate interests and preserve an industry that is in decline, NRC began a program to relicense these plants, extending their operational period by an additional 20 years from 40 years to 60 years. NRC was required to prepare an Environmental Impact Statement, EIS, for each renewed plant license. These EISs were required to rigorously evaluate impacts and risks that could result from extending the operating period by 20 years. The purpose of these EISs were to facilitate wiser decisions and to inform the public about the increased risks they would be forced to live with during the additional 20-year operating period. But it evolved into a cover-up. As it turns out, NRC hid the dangers and risks to the public. Few people understand the risks that they are now faced with. And NRC is hoping it stays that way. The NRC bureaucracy placed Mr. Brian Holian in charge of its nuclear license renewal program, who in turn placed Mr. Pham in charge of supervising and approving these EISs. This was done, even though multiple NRC sources reported that Mr. Pham had been relieved from his duties as a project manager, not once, but twice. Could this explain what you are about to witness? Let's return to the NRC's commission, our equivalent of Dr. Strangelove, and dig a little deeper into this scandalous cover-up.
They have nothing to worry about, from a little nuclear meltdown. They can always make more babies.
But how could NRC's management relicense an entire fleet of reactors without scaring the public and fueling widespread panic? Perhaps drawing their inspiration from the movie Dr. Strangelove, NRC management essentially denied that a nuclear apocalyptic nightmare was anything to seriously worry about. How? By sneaking the following simple-minded 30-word dismissal sentence into their EIS, and we quote:
The probability-weighted consequences of atmospheric releases, fallout onto open bodies of water, releases to groundwater, and societal and economic impacts from severe accidents are small for all plants.
Oh my!
Small. The risk of a catastrophic nuclear accident is small? While their EISs did contain a section, Chapter 5, devoted to the subject of nuclear accidents, a careful inspection reveals that there is no actual assessment of the consequences of a nuclear accident beyond this simple 30-word dismissal sentence. A life-threatening emergency, such as a full-scale nuclear meltdown, demanded a thorough and detailed assessment of the cataclysmic consequences, perhaps several hundred pages in length. But instead, they gave us a fake 30-word dismissal sentence. By law, an EIS must fully and rigorously evaluate impacts, dangers, and alternatives for mitigating impacts like a full-scale nuclear meltdown. Was this done? No. Not a single sentence was devoted to the consequences of an accident such as
thousands of deaths, injuries, cancers, cancer-induced birth defects, destroyed property values, evacuated cities, permanently radiatively contaminated sacrifice zones, or mass panic and hysteria.
Their EISs completely scuttled the assessment of the single most significant threat posed by a nuclear reactor, a major nuclear accident. In a state of disbelief? Simply consult Chapter 5, in any one of NRC's relicensing EISs and see for yourself.
Not even Dr. Strangelove would say something this crazy. It's a government cover-up. No wonder this relicensing program has been given the appropriate title. Nukegate.
We are in control. There's nothing to fear.
Dr. Strangelove knows better. But it gets even worse. NRC management cleverly, disguised, concealed, and falsified many other serious nuclear issues, which are discussed in related videos, because they are simply too numerous to describe in this video.
Each and every time a nuclear reactor was relicensed, we moved one step closer to another horrific nuclear accident.
Mama used to tell me that nuclear reactors are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Run, Forrest, run.
Are you running for world peace?
Are you running to feed the poor?
Are you running to promote the food additives industry?
No. I'm running to get away from that damn reactor. It's melting. Radiation's headed our way.
In a state of disbelief? The information presented in this video is factual and publicly verifiable, yet few know what the NRC just pulled off behind our backs. Simply consult Chapter 5, in any one of NRC's relicensing EISs and see for yourself. Contact the NRC and ask them for assistance in obtaining a free copy of any one of their 100 license renewal EISs. Read it for yourself. NRC's public document room phone number is 1-800-397-4209. Act now. Here's what you can do. Pass this link to those you know. Contact your congressional office and demand an investigation. Contact environmental organizations and inform them. Demand an accountability. Lodge a complaint with NRC. NRC's Safety and Security Concern phone number is 1-800-695-7403. The NRC chairman is Christine L. Svinicki. Her NRC email is chairman@nrc.gov.